table and honor that individual and let them know why we think they're special. So we're going to do something similar to my parents. We did try and be organized, and we kind of broke it down into topics so that nobody would overlap and we wouldn't be here all night long up talking. So we're going to start off with Marion.
Well, I'd like to honor my parents for their faith and their dedication to being witnesses of that faith. My parents have taught us through their own daily lives that our relationship with Jesus should be the #1 concern in our life. And whether it be seeing my mom with her mother's rosary beads and her novena book, or my dad with his special cross, which all of the grandkids love, and his little black book, or the Advent prayer that he sends to everyone, or the note my mom writes us, or the package we get in the mail, my parents have truly taught us to be and live our faith. And it all goes hand in hand with what Father Donald was saying. They're there every day, 8 a.m. Mass, and that's just something special, especially when we used to see them leave together and come home together, and that was something that they shared together. And they passed that on to us, whether it been in the Advent candle wreath or the rosaries on the way to wherever we were going. And just little things throughout our whole life. When I think of all of the memories, it wasn't preparing for Christmas. It was, Advent going into Christmas season. It was preparing for Jesus. It was Lent. Yes, we were going to Hilton Head, but it was, it was the time before. It was, making sacrifices because my parents lived that faith, and they taught us that having faith isn't just going to school, to church on Sundays. It's actually living it every day. And I think Father Donald touched on something else, which my parents have always taught us, which is to have a grateful heart. And I think that comes from, the faith that they have. And I am so grateful tonight to have, to be the daughter of Marion and Bernie, and Mom and Dad, and to stand up here with my siblings and to honor my parents. And I love you very much.
Great. I'm actually going to honor my parents because they're parents. So, I don't think that until I became a parent, that I truly began to understand what being a parent fully entailed. It is amazing. It is also hard work, and I'm only about 2 years in. I'm really afraid of the teenage years. But it is the most rewarding thing that I have ever done. Aside from my role as a wife, it is the greatest role that I will play in my life. Each day of my life growing up was preparing me to take on this role of parent. And each of those days, I can honestly say that I had the most amazing teachers and role models in my own parents. It is one thing to lecture and preach, it is another to lead by example. And lead by example, they did. Every day of their children's lives, my mother and father have given selflessly, loved unconditionally, encouraged wholeheartedly, sacrificed without complaint, provided abundantly, and mastered the art of patience and forgiveness, because although it might be hard to believe, we have all not been perfect children. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Perfect parents. Perfect
Thank
parents.
you, Mom and Dad, for being great parents and role models.
Richard, you okay?
I'd like to honor my parents as grandparents. As a young girl, I always remember my grandparents being a huge part of our lives, from ballet recitals, basketball games, and even trips to Disney World. They were there. I loved every minute of it because it gave me a chance to be spoiled and loved in a special way. I remember when I told my mom about being pregnant. It was on the phone, but I could hear her excitement through the phone. When I saw her, she gave me a huge hug, and you could tell how excited she was to become a grandparent. And from there on, with each pregnancy, I hear her tell me about her level of excitement has never changed. My parents now have become grandparents to all our children. They have assumed the role their parents played so well, spoiling and loving each grandchild in their own special way. Riley, being the first grandchild, for 4 years by herself, has been truly spoiled. As Liz went off to college, Riley basically moved in. My mother was a seasoned grandmother from the start. She even took me maternity clothes shopping and thought I should get a jumper. There's a jumper these days.
Coming back into style.
Well, walks to the Avon Pavilion for that special low-fat blueberry crumb cake, playing games, special trips to New York, and reading books are some of the fun things that children do with Mom. She is truly a one-of-a-kind grandma. As Riley grew into a toddler, I believe my father really started to become a pro. After sleepovers, they would take her to 8 a.m. Mass and then to Eva's, which is still a ritual. Trips to the park are always a treat for any grandchild. Each grandchild should know their pop-pop well by the silly sounds and faces he makes at them. After having 4 granddaughters, I will never forget the night in Hilton Head when we learned David and Nicole welcomed 2 Berry boys into this world. My dad was elated, and of course there was champagne involved. The addition of Billy was a sure sign that the Berry girls can have baby boys. As the list of grandchildren grows, the love my parents show each one of them will also grow. Riley, Michaela, Ella, Cece, Will, Declan, and Billy are very lucky to have such wonderful grandparents. As they grow older, I'm sure they will feel the same way I felt when I was a child, grateful that my grandparents could be such a big part of my life and loved in a special way.
What can be better than this?
I'd like to honor my mom and dad for their generosity and their service to others. They have been the ultimate example of how to lead a selfless life, and as they have told us since we've been young, to whom much is given, much is expected, from the Gospel of Luke, and they truly live this out in all that they've done to help others. And our whole family has been blessed, but they have not let us forget that we need to share our gifts and fortunes with others. And I can remember from the time I was a little girl, my mom used to take me over to the Mercy Center. I remember like packing canned goods there and serving the needy. And years later, when the Sisters of Mercy opened the Sisters Academy, she inspired me and Marion to become mentors and coaches to the middle school underprivileged girls there with her. And what a joy to be a part of that. And my dad, he has done so much to better Catholic education and being a part of boards of St. Rose and CBA. He's just shown such dedication and given up his time to make sure that these schools are there for kids and schools are better. And he is the reason they are better because he spent so much time there. And the number of charities he's donated to, and these are just all things that my parents have passed on to us. We've learned from them that, you know, we have to give of ourselves, and that's part of our calling is to serve others. And I think, you know, we've all learned that, and whether it's David working with the Missionaries of Charity in Nepal, or Timur and Marion building homes in Honduras, and the Dunphys and the Wagners work with the MDTW Foundation to support brain tumor patients. I mean, it's just unbelievable what they have instilled in us and all that they have done for others. And I just like to thank them for teaching us such a wonderful lesson and being such wonderful examples of selflessness and generosity. So thank you, Mom and Dad.
Ella's cracking up. John, she hit
her head. Oh, she hit her head? There's a seat in the back.
John, why aren't you watching?